He's still alive.
I can't
Feel it in my.
and I can't
Feel it in my.
Hello.
And welcome back.
Welcome back and hello. Greetings and humble salutations.
Welcome back to another episode of
Sipping on Love.
How you doing today, baby?
Wonder why?
Why?
Woke up next to you. Oh, you thought I was going to say something different?
Of course.
Of course. Of course.
Great.
And I mean,
What's been going on this week?
working like one of the last few slaves at the last plantation. That is, never mind, be nice.
Now working like a Hebrew slave, huh?
They trying, but then I'd be like, I don't want to do that. No.
We trying to stay tranquil,
Okay.
keep our rest.
And not popping off on people.
Yes, that is the lesson for this week. Contain yourselves. Don't...
Steal yourselves within yourselves.
What they said, I'm saving space for you.
Yeah, I'm holding space.
Holding space.
I'm holding space for you. People gonna be people, and
People.
And guess what? We still gonna do what we do.
That's it.
Show up, show out, and live abundantly.
Black edition.
Stay tuned for more. But let's dive in. I love you.
Oh.
I love you so much. Ooh, let me count the ways. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, say. Wait. Yeah, didn't know I could do all that.
Okay.
My love, I love you so much. Would you squint your eyes?
I feel like a backhanded compliment coming out.
I don't do those.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
Okay. No, but in real talk, I love you. And I really have been enjoying our conversations lately. Like, I know it's supposed to be a criticism or a critique, but I ain't got none. But I really, really enjoyed the conversations we've been having, not just like about future planning, but literally like about how we feel about shit. It's crazy how things have been popping up in our world and in our lives as we've been over here minding our own business.
Yeah.
And then it's like, bitch, what? Girl, who? Okay. Girl, let me tell you what happened, girl. It's brought a whole new perspective, at least for me, a whole new experience of like, I already seen you as my friend, but like being able to like go in deeper levels of like that kinship or that friendship that we have within our relationship. Like legit being able to talk shit about people and knowing that my bitch gonna hold me down.
Yeah.
Cause you know, some of y'all hoes ain't loyal. Y'all be talking too much, but not this one.
Cause that's my man.
And I'm gonna stick beside him. So yes, I love you and I enjoy where our conversations have been going. All of them. Let's keep it up.
For the people who are in relationships, don't you love when like there's like this point in your relationship where like y'all are in sync? Like y'all think alike, y'all can finish each other's sentences, or y'all say the same thing at the same time.
Or you might be thinking it in the action, the other partner performs the action. Crazy.
So literally for this episode, I was like, I was supposed to prep him and say, oh, let's say something positive about each other instead of the critiques. And here he goes, and he starts it off with something positive. So, that's my twin. Nobody loves you like you know. Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry. I was sorry. My bad. Continue.
The crazy part was I was going to say that I appreciate you creating those spaces of vulnerability and allowing me to be vulnerable. Because, you know, I mean, sometimes suffer with that and, you know, expressing my emotions and my feelings towards something. I'll just simmer on that thought and hold space for my man.
Simmer.
Until I'm ready to talk about it.
A rapid bull, you know, simmer.
So, you know, as of lately, you know, we've been communicating more. Like we putting together furniture will test your relationship. or any type of small project like that. So I think because it requires you to communicate, and it's like a group activity. So it's like,
and two fiercely independent individuals doing a group project with trauma of previous group projects gone wrong, or we had to take over anyway. It's just like, I got it. I got it.
So, child, I'll read the instruction. Well, I'll instruct you on what to do, and you just do it. Because, you know, it don't come with instructions anymore.
Yeah, pictures.
Right.
And then, child, that can get fucked up. And I was just like, what the heck? This does not tell you to do. Okay.
Yeah. So, I just like our space, your space that you provided for me to at least voice how I feel. Man, and my frustration, and being patient with me, and loving me unconditionally. Because your love should not have any conditions.
And there's a circle. There's no corners.
Yeah.
Circles.
I mean, you may be rough around the edges, but my love for you.
Who is you? Who's rough around the edges? Baby, do you not see this?
Okay, my man, he's an acquired taste, you know.
Oh, very much so. Like, I know I have some liquor in my
You have to have a nice palate. You know,
a strong palate, an expanded palate. You have to have experienced some world.
Yeah.
You can't have been staying in one place. You had to have traveled a little bit. Okay? Exposure to culture.
A little chance.
It's a little something. A little class. A little decorum.
What? Since we're talking about that, what are we sipping on?
We are sipping on something quite delicious. This is the Siesta Cocktail. Yeah, siesta is Spanish for nap. So we'll see how long we make it through this episode. Nap. Yes.
Oh.
So we'll see how far we make it in this episode. So as always, the recipe will be provided in the description. But great news. We've been talking about it a lot. And we did a thing. And we are starting, well, eventually we're going to start the process of getting our bartender licenses.
Mm-hmm.
We got the course, we're going to do the things, and then you're going to really be seeing me do shit. And you be like, yeah.
What I can say about this, though, y'all, it has grapefruit in it. I hate grapefruit with a passion. But this, it tastes real fruity and real citrusy, and it's like, it's smooth on the palate. Like, you don't, like, you can't get the hint of grapefruit, but, like, it's not overpowering, and it's not bitter. That's what I'm like, that's real good, girl. So I might sip all of this before the podcast is over with.
That's the point.
Well, y'all, so this episode is going to be about
gender identity and sexual identity.
And knowing the difference.
The difference is important.
Yes, so what I want to do is I'm going to start with a little king. So with this game, it's called Myself Said. I heard myself say, Cora.
Cora, myself.
I said, it's Cora. Mm-hmm. So with this one, I'm going to call out some rants. And I want yourself, which your inner self will respond to that, okay?
We got to decide which one's going to respond, the inner child or refined me. We'll see. We'll see what pops out.
Okay, girl.
Or whom.
So hopefully none of y'all are triggered, you know, from these rants. So let's just dive into it.
Let's dive in. I'm ready.
Okay, so the first rant. Bisexuality does not exist.
No, that's not true. I know that was calm, but nah, that's real. They're real. Not that. Sorry, y'all. They're very real people.
Okay.
And they're not greedy.
Okay. God created Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve.
There's actually a lie, because if God only created Adam and Eve, why did we have all these men and women? So technically, at some point in time, there was a Steve somewhere. So make it make sense. I think you all are so heavily focused on the coupling of people, because anything outside of what you see as normal scares you. Grow up.
I don't like labels. This is towards sexual orientation.
And respect. I won't yuck your yum. And we won't define your experience as long as you don't try to limit mine. How about it?
Okay. Trans women are not real women.
Oh. And you can't, so mind your fucking business.
Oh, okay. Children should not be exposed to the gay agenda.
Children should not be exposed to white heterosexual agenda, but hey, they're getting that every day. Because what agenda is the gay agenda? We ain't got one. We just try to live a happy, healthy life. If we still choose to get married, we should be able to. If we still choose to have kids, we should be able to. If we still choose to buy a house, we should be able to. What is it that's so different about our way of life that we're trying to placate or pair or draw such a drastic extreme? Shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. Are you gay? And then to the same effect, why are you so worried about what we got going on and what the kids see and what they don't, especially with all the shit that y'all got going on TV now? Because the dumb shit that y'all got, from the cartoons to the news, what the fuck are we really doing? Now we want to talk about a gay agenda. Let's talk about the ignorance agenda, because y'all are making these people dumber and dumber as the day goes by. I'm done.
Well, stop crying. You're a boy.
Boys cry too. Stupid. Like, that's a natural function. And you're saying, turn off that bodily function because you're a boy. Nah. I mean, we all bleed blood. I mean, most of us should be, but, so just.
I mean, we like aliens too.
I already told y'all I'm not of this world because y'all humans be doing some weird shit.
Okay. It's just a phase.
Just like the seasons, yeah. Mm-hmm. No. Seasons and people are two very different people. Things. To the seasons. The siesta catching up. But to the same effect, it's like, what are you defining as the phase? My attraction to this particular individual, or my holistic experience in understanding who I am within my body?
Right.
What are you saying that's a phase? And beyond that, you don't get to dictate my timeline, peasant.
Men who sleep with trans women are gay.
So this is when I call back on my friend that don't do labels. Why are you worried so much? Why are you so concerned about what happens in someone else's privacy of their bedroom or hotel room, wherever it's happening, or the car? I don't know. Why are you so concerned about an act or an engagement that people are doing in their own privacy, regardless of the identities that exist amongst those two, to therefore define who they are? Their experience is their experience. They get to define how that experience has molded, shaped, or transformed them, if it does at all. Because for some straight DL or whatever men, they just see it as another hole to put in. They just another squirrel trying to get a nut. And you all are trying to make it far more than what it is. And I think that that's also human nature, specifically in this patriarchal a capitalistic community. Like, we have to put labels on things because they have to be defined, because if it's not defined, it therefore should not have grounding or positionality in our ecosystem, because all things should have a label, all things should be known, and if we don't know it, it's a threat. Go sit down.
Amen. You're too cute to be gay.
You're just mad because I don't want you.
Oh, and I will. I like you because you don't act gay.
How does gay act? Because anything I do because I align with that community is gay. No shade. Like, there is no that's gay, that's straight. What I do is just what I do. Stop it. Like, what are we doing, y'all? What are we doing? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking about. Y'all humans be weird.
Well, I'm going to add to that last one. Mm-hmm. I like you because you don't act gay. Acting gay is just you liking the same sex as yourself. That's it. Whether you act feminine, masculine, your characteristic traits does not define what gay is. It's simply you being attracted to the same sex. Literally, that's it.
And as we dive deeper into this episode, we'll gain better understanding not only of the different terms, but also the different spaces in which our identities coexist. But then I think it's also gaining a better understanding that really, truthfully, these labels are more so for the people that aren't even a part of the community, so y'all can feel more comfortable about yourselves and understand where you fall in it. But at the end of the day, this shit's not about you.
It is, in a sense. It's about everybody.
It's not.
Is what I want to say. So, because I want people to feel comfortable being who they are and not feeling pressured that you have to be something that you're not. Mm-hmm. So, let's get into it, baby.
I already things to say to that already.
So for the first thing, we're going to tell you like difference between gender identity, sexual orientation, and your sex. Okay? So with gender identity, it's a psychological and social definition that refers to a person's internal sense of their own gender, who they are as a gendered being. So this is where we get cisgendered, which means you identify with the gender you were assigned with at birth. We have transgender, gender identity that differs from the sex that you were assigned. And then we have non-binary that doesn't fit into male or female. We have agender that feels no connection to any gender at all. And we have gender fluid. The gender identity changes over time.
Yes.
So this is with internally how you feel. What gender do you claim? With sexual identity, and sexual orientation, we're going to describe who someone is romantically attracted to. So we have heterosexual, where you're attracted to the opposite sex. Homosexual, attracted to the same sex. Bisexual, attracted to both sex. Pansexual, where we're attracted to, what they say, hearts, not parts. Asexual, where you have like little to no sexual attraction. And then you have queer, which is this umbrella of
this I like what I like.
Yeah.
And that's just it.
And then we have your sex. And sex refers to the biological attributes that you were assigned to. So they take into consideration like chromosomes, hormones, the anatomy,
the science of it all.
Yes. And of course, we have male, female, and then we also have intersex. And intersex, you have both chromosomes, both body parts, and all kind of other things, but intersex. So we say that with gender identity, it's who you are, and we say that with gender orientation, it's who you like. And sex is science of which you are assigned to based off of science.
Got you. So I guess we could dive in with the first question of, in what ways can assigning sex at birth limit someone's personal identity development?
For me, I feel like because of the society that we grow into, they're already assigning gender norms to the sex that you were assigned. And there's this expectation of how you should carry yourself and what you should be and what contributions you should make to the world. So if you're assigned a boy, you're supposed to like blue. You're supposed to not like anything feminine. You're supposed to be a provider. You're supposed to be strong. You're supposed to not emote. There's these expectations that the society puts on you, and it kind of limits what a boy can experience, because if he steps outside of that, then that's when it scares people, because you're not being a man or you're not being strong, or they feel like there's something that is like affecting you negatively, that's making you want to do these things that they don't think you should experience, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. And to add to that, take all of that what my man just stated, and apply that pressure to the moment a family finds out whether it's a boy or a girl. Immediately, the expectation for performance, the expectation of identity is enforced upon them. Because think about it. As you're developing in the womb and doctors tell you, oh, it's a boy or it's a girl, immediately parents, let's call the thing a thing. Y'all become selfish. and say, oh, this is the boy, this is the girl, this is going to be their name, which is usually very gender normed to either a boy or a girl. And guess what? Because we know that proper development for a fetal is to talk to the child, to engage with the child. So guess what? You're already imprinting with them, but then you're imprinting them with societal norms and expectations of who they're going to be, how they're going to act, how they're going to function. And that's not fair because you don't even know this person for real. You don't know nothing about them other than the sex, the scientific sex of what they can see through a little, the gel in the screen. No Sade. Like, that's all you get from the little pixelated picture from the ultrasound. Oh, it's a boy because we confuse the ding-a-lang with an umbilical cord. Whatever. Funny. But they are experts at figuring that out. So I look at that, but then to the same effect, that the word that consistently resonated with me as my man was talking was expectations. Expectations. Expectations are man-made, and guess what? You decide if you want to subscribe to them. And I think that that's where we set ourselves up for frustration and vexation and the angst that we get for those that, like, as people develop and become aware of who they are. Specifically, parents experience this more, especially parents that happen to birth non-heterosexual children, birth and or raised non-heterosexual children, that when their child comes out to them and says, well, I know that you've raised me this way to believe this, to see this, to understand myself in only this lens, but in my own learning, in my own exploration, this is what I've discovered to be true for me. And we can't handle other people's truths. And I have a problem with that. Because because lastly, it's like, especially if students, children become self-aware at an early age, parents are at a crossroads. I feel that it's like, do I take my child's word for it? Or do I feel that as the parent, I know what's best? You're not in their body. Just things to consider.
That's what I was going to say. I kind of struggle with parents because we're not parents
yet.
But I struggle with parents who raise their kids to be honest, or like open door policy. Come talk to me when you have something on your mind. Or parents who teach their children to be strong and opinionated. Yeah. And then the moment that child comes out, everything flips, and it's like, well, you taught me to be a certain way. Hello. And I'm doing what you're telling me to do, and I feel comfortable because you've created this environment for me to be myself. Yeah. And once I give you and add more information to who I identify as, now everything that you've taught me is wrong. Yeah. That's what it feels like.
It's a major contradiction.
Everything is wrong, and now I'm supposed to live loud and proud, but hide this part of myself. Yeah. I'm supposed to voice my opinions and how I feel, but not express, but not stand up for this community. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like you want me to be my authentic self while still hiding a piece of myself. And that's where I find trouble with a lot of parents, because it's like, yes, again, you have this expectation of who I am and you've instilled these morals, but once that doesn't align, or once I add something that you're not familiar with, now you want to push a piece of me away. Yeah. So you can feel comfortable.
Because it's too much for you.
And because you can't explain it, Snoop Dogg. Since you can't explain it to the rest of the world, you don't want me to inform you or explain it to the rest of the world.
To that same point, it's not your story to tell, so it's not your right to share it. For those that, and take it back to I Love You, Simon, that movie. And in one part that was so poignant in it, when the young man confronted the other dude that had a little crush on him or whatever, he's like, you stole my right. You stole my story. You stole my opportunity, my choice to come out or to welcome people into that very sacred, that very private side of me. And so it comes back to the space.
He was out?
Yeah, he was out it. He was out it in a very toxic way, again, by someone he thought was his friend. Okay. Well, I don't think he really saw him for real, but in the crossing, in their interactions, like, he's like, yo, like, I thought we were cool and you did this. So
I feel like everything in the world, everything requires change. And it's like, As soon as somebody says they have a problem with something, I feel like that's where the change needs to start happening. You know what I'm saying? So if that person's okay with it, that's fine. But if we get people who are constantly crossing boundaries, then we're like, okay, this is a different conversation.
True. Receive.
So how about we talk about how do societal expectations about sex, gender, and sexuality shape a world of down low men?
Because what it does, and let's call a thing specifically to the Black community, it puts Black men in a pigeonhole that you either are or you aren't. Mm-hmm. And that's not fair. Because women have the opportunity in that gray space to be exactly who they are, and you either subscribe to it and align with it, or you don't, and you keep it pushing. Mm-hmm. But if it's a man, like, again, it goes back to the game that we started with. A straight or heterosexual man has sex with a transgender woman, makes him gay. Why the fuck does that matter? Because in his eyes, he sees a woman. In her right, she's a woman. Why are we making it far more convoluted and more than what it actually is? Mm-hmm. These were two consenting adults that decided to engage in sexual intercourse. Mm-hmm. Why are you all up in the bedroom? So it also invokes a sense of violation of privacy too, that we so focused on what's in between each person's legs, who's in between each person's legs, and how they identify, and therefore based off of their experience, just want to make sure that we're understanding the logic of what we do. Because of the external person's experience, we feel obligated to give it some form of definition so we can better understand it. Let me help you and hold your hand when I say this. Ooh. It's none of your fucking business. That's it. That will absolve you of all the things and all the reasons of knowing when you just realize that it's none of your fucking business. If you're not invited to the wedding, it's none of your fucking business. If they don't tell you about the relationship, it's none of your fucking business. And even if they do, you have to establish boundaries for yourself. Certain things I don't want to hear about. I don't care about your sexual life. Are you good? You protecting yourself? You're healthy? Solid care, bruh, sis. Those in between, love you down. Period. Done. But I think until we get to a space that we are comfortable enough in being our own authentic individualistic selves, we're going to perpetuate this cycle of limitation of self. We're going to perpetuate this cycle of pigeonholing folks because we don't understand their own. And then pause. Okay. That's another piece. That's another reason why we even have DLM, because we have not provided or afforded them the space of safe exploration and self-identification, because we're automatically assuming and interjecting expectation that because you're doing something that's not of the norm or that is not normal for us, you gotta be something else. You gotta be different. Says the fuck who? Yeah. No one makes the rules for you but you. And I think until we all come to that own alignment and awareness, we're going to perpetuate this cycle. So that's my take on how gender, sexual identity, and sexuality shape this world that we have, that not only create the DL man or caricature, but it perpetuates and exacerbates the consistent onset and growth of that particular community's population, because it's showing that they don't feel safe to be themselves. Duh.
Girl, he had a lot to say. Take a breath. Take a breath. Take a sip. But, so to add to his thought, I was going to say, girl, he had a lot to say. In my personal opinion, I feel like the only thing that support men in this capitalistic world is patriarchy. Mm-hmm. So that gives men more opportunity as far as work, job opportunities, maybe better pay, being able to be exposed to more things, being able to get away with more things, overpowering people, using, I feel like patriarchy helps men in this capitalistic world. But when it comes to expressing themselves authentically and emotionally, again, that's where we find limitations, because there's already expectations on what a man is. I feel like a man is based on it's different from person to person, I feel like, what a man is. But from the overall objective of what everybody sees the man as, a provider, somebody who's strong, a leader, somebody who is able to basically work and take care of the family. And so when we see, and heterosexual, when we see anything outside of that, heterosexual, provider, leader, anything out of that is skewed.
Yeah.
And we feel like something is wrong. And now that needs another label because that's not what a man is. And so we feel like girls can, and this is from a male's perspective, females may feel a little differently, but from a male's perspective, we feel like females have more opportunity to explore themselves and get a sense of what they like and what they don't like. So girls can go out and they can kiss a boy, they can have kids, they can break up with a man, they can have a lesbian phase. Because I feel like that's also a reason why people think sexuality is a choice. Yeah. Because of a lot of women. They can have a little lesbian phase, and then they can move. They can break up and go back to men. They can, kiss a girl. Be drunk in a club and kiss a girl. They can do all these things. They can like the color blue. They can, they can have a boy name. They can go through they can be tomboyish. Because a dad, he won't be upset that his girl likes sports. His daughter likes sports. Right. She's tomboyish. Maybe the mom might have a little problem because she wanted somebody prissy, but she's not going to make you feel ostracized because you are tomboyish. But let a male put on fingernail polish, try on his mother's heels. Let him go out and have sex with a boy once, and women automatically deem him as homosexual. Just have that's what I'm saying. Having one gay experience makes you gay forever, and you don't even feel comfortable bringing it up because now every woman that you date will probably have a problem with that and hold you to that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Some men. The other problem is men. I feel like we'll save this for another episode, for a later date. But some men don't even feel comfortable coming forward when it comes to sexual assault because of how they are going to be. Yeah,
because
perceived.
You're supposed to be seen as strong and dependable, and you're the protector. So how are you the protector and you got violated?
Right.
Which therefore paints the picture of you being less than a man.
Right. So that's why I'm we have all these stereotypes, even in media. When media portrays men, you have Hercules cartoons, you have all types of strong characters, and then when it comes to gay characters, you have the same flamboyant character, and it's that is not gay people. That's not a representation of all gay people.
It's a monolith.
And it's a spectrum, and I feel like a lot of people don't go out of their way to understand that there's a spectrum. They just want to group everybody into one, but not understanding that just because my son is gay does not mean that he doesn't like to play basketball or football or sports, or that he doesn't like to wear baggy clothes, or that he doesn't still want to wear a suit and tie, and still work a 9 to 5. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do, because it also does not, just because a child is gay, queer, bi, non-heterosexual doesn't mean they can't beat your ass.
That too.
Because I think that y'all, not y'all, our listeners, because y'all have some sense because you watch us. But folks like to play, you like to fuck around and find out. And one thing I will say about our community, however you identify, however you align, whether you're open or whether you're exclusive and private and to yourself, whatever the case might be, when you try us the wrong way, bitch, it's like the summoning of the gods. Because it's more than just one. I don't know where they come from, but you activate something in us and y'all get shook down so fast, so quickly, that you feel like it's the second coming. And it's just when y'all see these instances, because that's when the shit gets viral, but then y'all also try to take and twist the narrative while not taking accountability for your instigation of the problem to begin with. So it comes down to so many other things. that, like my man said, we'll talk about later and we'll address in future episodes. But like, this is something that I think we really have to come to a place of grounding and acceptance that everybody is different. Let's start there. Diversity is a fact. There is no one way to be gay, bi, queer, pan, non-binary, trans. There's no one way to do it, y'all, because each of us are our own ever-existing, ever-changing, ever-growing individual. Mm-hmm. So you can't sit up here and say that being a man, this is the only way that you can be a man, because being a man here in the DMV is a totally different narrative and experience than being a man down in the Deep South, than being a man on the West Coast, than being a man in Canada versus being a man in Africa versus being a man in China. It's different. And we're sitting up here consistently trying to confine ourselves to one finite definition. We're limiting ourselves. Honestly, we're limiting ourselves. And we wonder why we're wherever we are in the national rankings, well, international rankings in education, because we see where we are right now with Wig and them and all the bullshit that they're doing. So it's not like there's not much. We don't have much going for us right now. And let alone, we can't even get along with our damn neighbor because, oh my God, I think the last time I heard through the wall, the octave sounded a little lower than what it should for a woman. Or it sounded a little high for what it should have for a man. Mind your fucking business. It's free.
The world will be a better place.
It's all of your business belongs to you.
Yeah.
Mind your business.
And stop using religion to dictate how people move in the world.
I cannot wait till Judgment Day comes and some of y'all are really made a fool of.
Yeah.
Because as an ordained minister, y'all know better.
Y'all should.
Y'all know, and not even should. Y'all know better because the book is the book. It doesn't change. The only thing that changes are the tamperings of the translations. But when you take, for those that claim I went to get my master's in divinity, my doctorate, then you should know.
And why are we preaching about love and not showing it?
Ooh.
Or shaming it? Because it doesn't look like what you think it should look.
And I thought the Bible also said, lean not onto your own understanding. Because we don't know everything. We haven't experienced. Again, a lot of y'all preachers, pastors, those in the religious space, like y'all, your perspective is still limited because you're relying on a book, a history book, that's been tampered and tainted by various hands and translations, but then also coupled with your limited worldview. So how do you have the true context to understand what it is that you're reading? Because most of the times you're not reading it for yourself. You're taking it from whatever was told to you from the pulpit. Come on, update your learning.
And with all of those experiences, a lot of the LGBTQIA people deal with a lot of issues. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of those issues are mental health.
I wonder why.
So it's
because y'all folks is crazy.
I am reading from ZenCare.
Mm-hmm.
It says the title is Prevalence of Mental Health Concerns in the LGBTQIA Community. People who identify as LGBTQIA may have an increased risk of mental health challenges. For instance, one study found that young people who identify as LGBTQIA have poorer mental levels compared to those who do not identify as queer. They also found that compared to heterosexual people, LGBTQIA people rated themselves lower on measures of life, satisfaction, happiness, and belief that things they do are worthwhile. So they feel less than. LGBTQIA people may be more likely to have difficulties with substance use.
Mm-hmm.
Data in the United Kingdom showed that gay or bisexual adults were more likely to have taken illicit drugs, about 33%, compared to heterosexual adults, which is 11.1%. And furthermore, research suggested that LGBT people are 1.5 more likely to experience alcohol or substance dependence compared to heterosexual people. So, and a lot of that due to body dysmorphia. Mm-hmm. A lot of that is due to homelessness. Mm-hmm. A lot of that is due to trying to figure out who you are as a person, but not able to voice that or experience that with support.
A lot of it is a lack of safety.
Yes, and that too.
Because I don't feel safe in my body, ergo body dysmorphia. and I don't feel safe in my body because my body does not fit the societal standards of what society says my body should look like based off of my gender, based off of my role in society, right? It also speaks to the safety of the spaces that I'm in and how I'm able to show up and represent myself. If I am not able to show up as my full authentic self. So those that know me know I'm a very, very loud person. But again, you don't get that off rip. You don't get that off rip because again, I have to feel safe and comfortable around you. If I don't, most people get the reality, get what they get with me, which is resting bitch face and I'm quiet and I look judgmental because I am judging you. And I think that the community, the LGBTQ plus community goes to what's most accessible, which are the harmful substances, which are those various pathways of drug abuse, which therefore, again, like my man said, activates those mental health issues or complications. Because when do we get a break? When do we get an opportunity to just simply be? If we're always on guard, if we're always on watch, and the only time, the only space that we're afforded that is hopefully our home. And if it's not our home, it's in those social spaces where, again, you're able to access the drugs and alcohol. So we gotta balance it out because it's like, you're giving us a double conundrum in its own sense. Like, we're not okay with you what we're receiving, at least from me, from my perspective and understanding and journey. We're not okay with you being who you are in yourself. Start there. We're not okay with you being who you are in the privacy of your home because we're going to mind your business because, again, ergo, the DL community. We're not okay with how you decide to show up in certain spaces and in certain roles and in certain capacities because we, as a society, we as a people have a preconceived vision or notion or expectation, that fake thing that we like to lean on heavily, like that if you're going to be in education, you can only conduct yourself like this. If you're going to be in the corporate sector, you can only do this. If you're going to go into the artistic world, you can only do this. Who made these fucking rules and why? And who gave them the authority to do so? Beyonce said it best. You don't have to ask permission for shit that you own.
We said, what, white Christian?
White Christian evangelism.
Yeah, that's a creative thing. What I want to add to that also is expanding on the safety part. Me and my man, we had a conversation yesterday. I think it was yesterday of how I'm speaking for the folks who can't hide it. Yeah. My man said, if me and my man was to walk in a room, suit and tie, just walking in, didn't say a word, my aura gives off homosexual. Like, I can't hide it. So you also have to think about the people who are like, think about our transgender people who are not, who doesn't have like the feminine feature.
Yes.
And right. Or just who may not choose to even have any type of cosmetic changes. But they walk in and they have these broad shoulders and, bone structure. So it's like we walk into a room and now you're constantly hearing critiques or criticisms or these comments. And it's like everywhere you go, somebody has something to say. Or when you walk into a room, you feel people like shift or like you see them like looking at you with frowned up faces, and it's just like
those piercing evaluative.
My presence just make you uncomfortable, and it shouldn't be that way, And it's just, but that does take a toll on your mental, and it's just like I want those people to one, stay grounded in if you know who you are, just stand in it, stand in it. Journal. Also have a support system, whether that's one person. At least have one person in your corner that you can vent to, talk to, express yourself to. If you can't, make sure I say go look for like support groups, Facebook groups, social media groups. Like find you a support system that will help keep you grounded and pour that love into you that you need. Because not every day we wake up a strong individual. You know what I'm saying? And we can't hide from the world every day. So it's like, at least find you a support system, find you an outlet, something that makes you feel good at the end of the day. And again, just stay grounded in who you are and just stand in that, because I think when you, because a lot of people want you to react, they want you to respond, they want you to like, and whether that response is like you breaking down or you being combative and arguing with them, they want you to feel something. And I feel like once you just enter a room, if you don't even have to make eye contact with anybody, you just walk in and whatever you was meant to do, go do that. You don't even have to walk up with your head high and continue to move with grace. And don't even pay attention to what anybody has to say, because people are going to always find something to say.
Yeah.
Literally always find something. Whether, even if it was a heterosexual person, why is he wearing plaid with stripes? Why is he wearing polka dots? Why is he wearing these loafers? You know what I'm saying? People will always have something to say. So just walk up with your head high and just stay grounded in who you are. Because if you change for somebody else to like you, you've already lost the plot. Yeah. And you're going to consistently find yourself unhappy because you don't know who you are. Because you're trying to find yourself within other people or other people's satisfaction.
Yeah. People pleasing.
So don't do that. Don't fall victim to that. Stand in who you are, because like I said, there's people who walk into a room and you can't hide. You can't walk in with a bitch face and then people are guessing like, is he straight? Is he gay? You know, and then they'll send that female friend. I got a question, bitch. Back the fuck up. Don't ask me nothing.
Stop doing that.
Please.
Stop doing that. We're going to talk about that later on in this conversation today.
Please.
But stop setting your little girlfriends up, and not calling y'all little like y'all young or anything, but stop setting your girlfriends up for that, because you're perpetuating the cycle. Mind your fucking business.
Yes.
When we, and I stand firm when I say this, the collective of the LGBTQ plus community, when we feel comfortable, when we feel safe to invite you into our inner sanctum of understanding of who we are, we're going to let you know. But then also, let's call a thing a thing. What's known don't need to be explained, and what's understood don't need to be, what's understood is what's understood. If you know, you know. Why do we got to make it a whole spectacle of public knowledge? Because again, what does knowing about who I choose to love have to do with the effectiveness of the work I bring into this job? What does knowing who I choose to love have to do with dictating whether or not I'm a good person in my family? What does knowing who I choose to love have anything to do with dictating what type of friend I am? It has no bearing. So we're really focusing on shit that don't matter.
So let's talk about why people should respect pronouns.
Because it's an extension of their name and their identity. And if you don't have respect for that, you don't have respect for them. And to the same effect, because this now comes into my world in education, where we're still battling. It's 2025. And we're still dealing with teachers that don't want to respect preferred names, don't want to respect preferred pronouns. One, because they don't get it. And I don't feel that there's anything to get. If someone says, this is how I choose to identify, period.
But you know what's funny about that? When I was growing up, I don't know if that was in y'all school system as well. Teachers were like open to, what do you want to be called by?
Yeah.
Like when we was growing up, they'd be like, do you have a nickname? What's the name that you want to be referred to as? So I don't see why that's all of a problem all of a sudden.
Well, know why? Because that still aligned with gender norms. We weren't that bold back then when we were coming in.
Oh, so like people were like, oh, my name is Cannon, but you can call, no, my name is William, but I want to be called Cannon.
Yeah. So, stuff like that. So it wasn't competing with, I'm sorry.
I was saying like my name is William, but I want to be called Wilma.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like, it could be like, I'm Tyson Jr., but I like to be called TJ. Yeah. Like it was the typical expected types of nicknames. But the younger generations now that are very affirmed from home to school and in community, they're coming in like, no, I know my paperwork says William, but no, bitch, this is Regina. Right. And you're going to love it. And people, and I think a lot of it is also folks can't align. They have their own cerebral discord, because it's like, you're telling me that this boy in front of me and what I see, based off of what I see and understand of what I see, this is a boy, but this boy, from what I see, wants to be called a girl's name from what I know, right? So you're leaning only on your own understanding, but this is where you have to take an inquiry stance or a learner stance and come in with curiosity and seek clarity of like, who are they? How did they get to that space of self-awareness to know that they want to be identified by those particular pronouns or by that particular name? Now, true story. First coming into this work of LGBTQ plus advocacy, specifically for the Black community, I abhorred pronouns. Specifically, especially when we had all those community meetings, advocacy stuff, because we would waste literally 20 minutes going around the room telling everyone our preferred pronouns. And I'm just like, yeah, this is a waste of time because I got people dying in my community and we over here fighting about pronouns. What's your name? What's your pronoun? Let's keep it moving. Like, we don't got to take up so much time and space for that. And I think that also that identifying that tool of identification has also been used as a tool of discord, a tool of distraction as well, because people allow that to get in the way of what we're actually doing. We're doing identity we're doing identity work. We're really focusing on making sure that the holistic self is in full alignment. Because again, if I feel one way internally, somehow, some way it has to manifest externally. For some, it might just be as simple as a pronoun or a name change to better align with their identity. For others, our transsexual community or transgender community have to go through the physical changes to really align their mental, spiritual, and emotional self, like with how they feel and how they identify. So it comes into that space of like, and I know it's been my mantra for this episode, you got to mind your business. To the effect that if someone says that, regardless of how they look, regardless of your own understanding of what you see, think, and understand and hear, if a person says, this is who I am, believe them. Accept it.
So then that's what I was going to say. Keep passionate, though. We love it. My man passionate about this topic. But what I will say today is just respect that. If you have respect for that person, respect their pronouns. I think that's like, in this climate, that's on like the top tier of hierarchy of you showing respect to that person's sexual gender, their gender. Because I feel like their gender identity, I'm so sorry, this liquor. I feel like that's the top tier of showing respect to their gender identity, because a lot of people have weaponized the whole pronouns thing. And it's just like, let's just speak on the transgender community. If somebody who's telling you, I want to be referred to as this, what's so hard about switching over? Now, I understand we have those old folks who be like, who grew up with this person named this for 20 years, 30 years, but I feel like you can change. And I feel like if you respect that person, you can hop on board with that change. And I feel like you may have slip-ups, because, you know, whether y'all are kicking or there's a drunken state, like somebody's impaired, you might have slip-ups. But if you don't mean it maliciously, then we can move forward. Now, I also want to say, people have grace for some people, because sometimes it takes a while for people to adjust to that change. Just like we have certain people adjust to being okay with our sexual orientation. We give grace to those people to mourn their expectation of who we were supposed to be for them, and then embrace our full selves and how we can move forward as a collective. And I want people to still have that grace for the pronouns things, as long as it's not malicious. But if there's malicious intent, then this is where we need to come up with boundaries. If you decide that you're going to continue to call me this, then I'm not going to associate myself with you, because you're showing a sign of disrespect. And I think people need to understand what boundaries are. Boundaries are not rules for other people. Boundaries are me saying, if this happens, I'm going to do this.
It's your response to the situation.
It's your response to that situation. So if people are going to consistently, that's why I don't understand another rant. I don't understand when people say, oh, I have like Republican friends and this, that, and the third, and we all get together for Thanksgiving and leave that, you know, outside. I don't. Because if I feel like if I'm the gay cousin, but I have an aunt who's hyper religious and who makes me feel uncomfortable, why would I want to be around that? So again, if there's individuals in your life who just won't respect your decision, remove yourself.
Because at this point, it's beyond accepting. We can get to the bare minimum of respect. You don't gotta like me. but you will respect me. You will respect my walk. You will respect my talk. And if you can't get with it, baby, you can get gone.
Okay, with that. So do you feel that gender identity can change over time?
Yeah. Because again, as we defined it, gender identity is how you see yourself. Like, so you are for your pride. And I think that it would be a disservice to our individualistic selves not to acknowledge the changing that we go through. Because again, every single day we're changing, we're growing, we're improving, for the good or for the worse. You get to decide what that is. But most definitely gender identity changes over time, because think about how you choose to express yourself, how you chose to express yourself in your 20s, to how you express yourself in your 30s, to even for those that are there now, how you express yourself in your 40s and 50s. Like that shift or that arc of expression is ever growing, ever changing. And that's also going to be manipulated by your current life standing. Like, where are you in life? Are you married? Are you single? Are you with child? Are you not with children? Like, what is it? How does life accommodate you, right? Not how are you accommodating life? How does life accommodate you in the way that you want to exist? And we do adapt, we do adopt, and we also abandon certain aspects that no longer serve us or no longer benefit us or no longer work for the spaces and places that we're in and that we're going to. So most definitely, like it would be a disservice to say that our gender identity is stagnant, because that's not true.
I can add to saying that I feel like a lot of it is contributed. I agree. I think a lot of it is contributed to experience, vulnerability, and the environment that you grow around. Whether it's a safe space or not. We can see different phases. There was a show with the girl who was in middle school, high school. It was growing up with, what's her name? Jalen? I can't remember her name. It's a young girl, but she was going through her transgender phase. Her parents allowed her to transition at a very young age, like I want to say 12, 13-ish. Okay. I forgot the girl's name. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Screaming to me through the phone. Y'all know who I'm talking about. But at that young age, her parents listened to her. They respected her decision, and they allowed her to transition. And we got to watch her grow. I think she's in her 20s now.
But that's the young lady that did the book, right? That is the same young lady?
I think so, yes.
Okay.
I can't think of her name, but y'all know who I'm talking about.
Not Star, but yeah.
No.
I'm going to be nice. I ain't going to say that on camera.
Fast forward, we had T.S. Madison. T.S. Madison decided to transition like 1920. That was her transition. And then we can fast forward to Caitlyn Jenner, who decided to come out after having kids. During the Olympics, in the I think Caitlyn was in her 50s when she decided to transition. As of recently, we just had Sam Smith and Demi Lovato, who is not non-binary. So it's like, I feel like it's...
And Sam Smith is a great example of that, of the progression.
Yes, because that's what I'm saying. It's different seasons and different experiences for people. There's no age limit. There's no right time to do certain things. I know people always say, oh, it was the right time to come out, but there's no right time. It's just you was in a space where you know yourself, you felt comfortable enough to give that information out to the world or to the people, your loved ones. And so that's why I feel like your identity is always changing. Some people know their identity, they just hide it because they're not in a vulnerable space. So it's just like, but even those people who have recognized, hey, I've always felt different, but I didn't have the context, I didn't have the information, I didn't have the understanding of what it is that I was feeling or what it is that I was going through. And now that I know, and I could put words to it, this is what it is, and this is how I'm feeling, this is how I now choose to express myself.
In real talk, in real life, right? With what you just said, and then I'll go to the next question. Personal story about that, because I knew since childhood I was always different. But the challenge that I had was that I didn't see any representation of how I felt on the inside. And so knew I was different. Didn't know that difference was being gay, or specifically now, because even that has shifted, like being a part of the LGBTQ plus community.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, I remember I initially saw the little clip, Men on Film, on In Living Color. And it was just like, okay, like, yeah. And it's just like, okay, I see these guys.
2 snaps for Wednesday.
2 snaps for Wednesdays, but it's like, I connect, but I don't see me.
Mm.
I remember Project Runway season 1, the first time I ever saw a Black gay man, like, that wasn't effeminate presenting. And I was like, okay, I connect, but I don't see me.
Mm-hmm.
However, again, in that moment, because this was like right before I went to college, undergrad, in that moment, I was like, okay, well, I know I'm different, but this is at least giving me language to define the difference I'm feeling.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I had to consistently grow and learn and be exposed to the world to better understand and place myself. And it really wasn't until I met you that I was like, yeah, gay is cute, but that's still not really defining me.
Mm-hmm.
And meeting you, we had our conversations, and again, this man is always teaching me something new. And that's where, like, I've been able to better align myself with being queer. But then also with that, like, I know my pronouns are he, they, because, like, I honor the effeminate and the effeminate and the masculine that coexist, because they pop out when they want. Like, I can't tell them, all right, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I need Macho Anthony, and Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, let the girls out. No,
Mm-hmm.
They show up when they feel like it, when it's needed, and I just embrace it.
Mm-hmm.
Which brings us to the next question. How does this affect the kids and our schools? How can schools be more inclusive of all gender identities and sexual orientations?
I felt like that was going to be a good question for you to answer. Because I feel like, because you work in the school environment.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm going to say, I'll keep it brief. Brief, because I thought it was for him. But for me, I feel like administration and teachers, for sure, the adults in the room, need to set a precedent.
Mm-hmm.
That they respect everybody's pronouns. Everybody who is taking it seriously. Because, you do, depending on which age range you teach, you have those students who want to be funny.
Mm-hmm.
So the people who live by this and who are serious about this, we respect your pronouns. We respect the name that you want to be called. And there's no tolerance for, like, harassment, name calling, bullying. Like, it starts at the head for me, because I feel like if you allow people to skate, or if you allow people to go unpunished because you think it's something small, when this could be something traumatic for the victim, I feel like that's where you create this environment that's kind of dangerous for the people who are victim to such harassment or, trauma. Because the LGBT community already has a problem with, like, expressing themselves fully and feeling accepted and feeling like they have a place in this world. And what you're doing is you're allowing, if you don't have a grasp on the situation, what you're doing is allowing people to mistreat that person and confirm those insecurities that they already have.
Mm-hmm.
And back to the Bush administration, no child left behind.
Girl, joke.
That's what I'm saying. No child should be left behind. No child should be left behind, and you should take every child seriously, because you want every child to advance in the world, mentally, physically, and emotionally, and intellectually. So I'm just like, we can't pick and choose and I feel like if you pick and choose what situations you want to deal with, you should not be in education at all. Because if you can't handle children, you can't handle adults, I feel like.
Yes. And I will say a few things, because I want to keep it brief.
Because, and I'm going to say this, fucked up children can sometimes lead to fucked up adults.
Yeah. Not even sometimes. They do. If they
go unchecked.
If they don't get the help and support, they do. What I would say, and I'll start with one of the points that my man had mentioned. We have to realize that regardless of age, they're still people. Our kids are still people. And they still have thoughts, they still have feelings, they still have experiences. They also see the world from a totally different vantage point than what we do today. And that's every generation. That's the first thing. The second thing is, again, that same understanding that they are who they are, they're little humans. We also have to acknowledge and accept the fact that they are not empty vessels. They are not needing us to guide them every which way. And it starts with really shutting the fuck up and listening.
Mm-hmm.
And I say this with the most professional reservation, not even reservations, but with the most professional awareness in it, even with the profanity. You just got to shut the fuck up and listen. And this is coming from working in public education, working in a public charter that was specifically designed to create an inclusive space for LGBTQ plus individuals and students of color specifically, as well as working in private school education, and seeing how every school type and every school system responded to the difference in student identity. Coupling that with my own identity as a Black queer man, a Black queer educator in education, in all those different sectors, like, we have to be cognizant of the precedents that we set, not only for the engagement with our students, but then also the engagement of how we work from adult to adult. Because like my man stated, it starts from the top, and our kids are nothing but a mirror reflection of their leadership. And it's not just the school leadership, it's also classroom leadership. What is the principal saying and doing? What are the teachers saying and doing? Because all of that is data that is going into the students' computer brains, and they're processing and dissecting and analyzing and synthesizing it to make it make sense for them. Mm-hmm. To the same effect, what it also comes down to of how can schools be more inclusive of all gender identities and sexual orientations? It comes with unlearning what we've known to be true. We have to discharge the pre-existing expectations of what a boy is and what a girl is, what a boy should do and what a girl should do, what a boy should like and what a girl should like. Because what we are finding, especially in public education, the students are becoming more and more diverse by the day. And this is beyond just sexual identity, sexual orientation and gender identity. Mm-hmm. This is also coming into race. This is also coming to social economic status. This is also coming into academic awareness and ability. Like, all of these things that we're now, it's a compounded assessment, unfortunately, to put it in that way, that we have to do for each individual student. And that's another piece. We can't keep making these blanket or generalized policies and decisions without having a true understanding of every individual that we're governing, every individual that we're supporting, because that is where the disconnect is happening. Because when most of these policies are being done, most of these decisions are being enacted or decided upon, most of these choices are made, we're making it with only two types of kids: a heterosexual female, a heterosexual young woman, and a heterosexual young man. That is it. We're not thinking of the other. And that therefore compounds and builds up a cycle of othering. Who would have thunk it? So all of that to say, it's like checking your bias. As my man said, if you can't see people for who they are and what they bring, seeing their value and their quality of character versus settling and sitting stagnant on how they choose to identify, you're in the wrong profession. Let's start there. Secondly, you have to establish a very safe and brave space, not only for people to be their authentic self, but also a safe and brave space for people to learn, for people to unlearn, for people to be safe enough to be corrected when they make a mistake for misgendering or mispronoun, or utilizing the wrong pronoun, that it's safe to make this mistake because I know that people know that I don't have ill or malicious intent. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to do better. And again, if you cannot align, there has to be far more accountable measures to get the harmful folks out the way, because that is also what's putting a dangerously aggressive target on public education because we got people that don't care for kids in this profession. And it's just like, who would have thought that you have to like kids to work as a teacher, to work in it? Like, it's necessary, y'all. And if you can't hack it, take your losses. I'm sure someone is hiring. Muscatina, Wig, Joe, somebody could hire your bigotry elsewhere. But it's not needed in a space where we're trying to cultivate the next generation. Because all we're doing when we do not engage in these inclusive spaces and we do not create these places of belonging, all we're doing is, again, like my man said, creating the next generation of fucked up adults. Period. I don't care how you can't paint it any other way, because giving them that constant exposure to that type of treatment, that type of limited awareness of self and of others, like you're confining them to being really two-dimensionally minded instead of three-dimensionally, because you're only letting them see the world in black and white versus seeing the multifaceted colors that makes us who we are today.
And adding to that last piece right there, stop using y'all kids as scapegoats. Mm-hmm. What about the children? It seemed like we only hear that phrase when it comes to sexual orientation. When you don't want to see representation of other sexual orientations. Mm-hmm. It's only, what about the kids when you see two gay niggas kissing? Or when you see a trans woman with a heterosexual man? What about the kids? You dog, when you see two lesbians kissing and you don't understand, on a Disney movie, and you don't understand how to explain that to your grandkids.
People love people, duh. That's how you explain it.
I need us to stop using the kids as a scapegoat when it only comes to sexual orientation, because y'all don't care when it comes to healthcare. Y'all don't care when it comes to pro-life, because the only pro-life y'all care about is abortion. Y'all don't care about when that child's actually in the world and either is in foster homes, need financial assistance, food. You don't care about any of funding their education. Like, you don't care about any of that. But it only comes to, what about the kids when it comes to sexual orientation? And I really need us to dig in our bags. And if you teach your kids to be respectable adults, and treat others how they want to be treated, we wouldn't be having these problems. Right. And if you don't understand something, get educated on it and then educate your child on what it is that they're witnessing. Because you can't hide your kids from gay people. We're all over the world. And if you are scared to have a gay child, don't have kids at all. Because there's a 50-50 chance that your child is going to be either heterosexual or homosexual.
And then to add to the list of things that we don't care about children, we damn sure don't care about them for gun violence. Because again, why are we still
it falls under the pro-life.
Oh, teach me something.
That's what I said. They don't care about the kids' lives.
But it's only until it's convenient.
Exactly. And so, what does it mean to be an ally? And what does good allyship look like to you?
To be an ally means that you at least have cultural awareness and cultural humility for the people that you say that you support. That's the first thing. Secondly, being an ally and what being a good ally is and what it looks like is, even when I'm not around, you're still defending me.
That part.
Like even when I'm not around, you're still defending me. And I can surmise allyship with this one quote, and I'm going to go off of memory. It's a little meme that I have in my phone, that I'm loyal to those who never made me question their loyalty. I'll repeat it for the people in the back. I'm loyal to those who never made me question their loyalty. And when I say that, an ally is someone that is fiercely loyal to the cause, to the person. Because again, allyship starts with a personal relationship, a personal connection to the work. But that's the start of it. It doesn't stop there. Because again, all y'all motherfuckers talking about, I have black friends, I have gay friends. That don't cut it anymore, baby. That's not allyship. That's not the true work. Allyship has the action behind the words. Allyship puts the dollars behind the work. Allyship show up in the spaces. They give presence because they understand the power and the privilege that they have, that they're utilizing to help extend and support those of others, right? Those are the other marginalized communities. So when we talk about allyship, it's also talking about putting yourself on the front line in camaraderie, in a joint stand, in a collaborative stance with those people that have been oppressed for decades, century, millennia. So when we talk about allyship, we're talking about you're also putting yourself out there on the cross too. You too are a part of the sacrificial. You can't have one without the other, because this passive aggressive allyship bullshit that I've been seeing as of late, that also shows that we don't build allies like we used to. We just don't. Like, we don't build allies like we used to. We damn sure don't build advocates and activists like we used to, because the way the shit's going on in this political climate, everybody froggy and leaping, but not leaping like to action, but leaping to flee. So it's just like, what are we doing? Last piece to that with what is allyship and how is it, like, what does good allyship look like? A good ally is always going to is a lifelong learner. You're never going to stop learning, which goes back into that culture of humility. You know what you know, but then also you know what you know what you don't know. But then what about the aspects of what you don't know that you haven't activated yet? And then also the things that you don't know that you don't know. So there's always space and opportunity to learn and unlearn and to become a very developed and well-rounded individual, to make sure that you can speak truth to power when necessary, whether the community that you are supporting is present to inform you and like to have your back or not. You are well equipped enough to stand firm, all 10 toes deep.
Watch it